Hello and thanks for joining us on this upgrade series. I've got a little bit of time off work and I'm spending that time wisely in upgrading the camper. Now we're sort of like halfway through the electrical upgrade, and as I have mentioned previously, there's quite a few other little jobs what just need sorting out and doing. One of those jobs is our level sensors on the black tank and the grey tank are faulty. I think we've got the original level sensors or the sender units from something like Cat tanks or maybe Jacksons, which are the typical motorhome ones with three or four rods on them. And the black tank has always been a little bit faulty, and then whilst we was in Germany the grey tank started playing up, so I thought, right, it's time now to upgrade to some newer and better ones hopefully. So I've gone for a marine rated ones. These are about £70 a piece. These are specially designed and built for the marine industry, for the black and grey tanks. So one of the jobs I've got to do is it's a little bit of a task, but I cannot get to the top of the tanks. So what I've got to do is get to the top of the tanks through the box basically. So I've got to go through the floor in the camper, through the box, and locate the old sender unit and then just replace it with this one, connect the wires up, and then on the other side we're having some new dials, and I'm going to show you this one because I think it's pretty cool. Again, it's all marine rated, this stuff, and it's one of the things I would advise if you're doing anything, building a camper van or an overlander, then certainly try to go marine rated. It's not all that more expensive, to be honest with you, but the quality is hopefully a lot better. So this is just the dial, and as you can see, this one has a small little toilet on there. I think that's pretty cool, and the other one is like the water dial. So yeah, really happy to get these fitted and so on. You also notice on the way in we've got a new diesel heater. Our diesel heater, the one what's there, to be honest with you, I had problems with it right from the word go. Yeah, and one of the problems where I located it underneath the steps on the outside. To get it outside, to get rid of the smell, get rid of the noise and everything. But the trouble is with doing that is if the diesel heater malfunctions, it's going to do it when you need it the most, which is cold, wet weather. And having the diesel heater then on the outside of the vehicle, well, you've got to fix it, haven't you? And it's not the best place to fix a diesel heater. So I'm going to put the new Chinese diesel heater on the inside, underneath the step as we get up onto the bed. So they're two little jobs. Hopefully shouldn't take that long, I'm hoping. Everything's in place. I've done the diesel heater before, so I know what I'm doing with that. And these sender units and the dials are a little bit of a tricky job, slow, but nothing what we can't do. So I'll show you just inside the box and the floor and where we're going to cut through, and I'll just go to a original photo from when we were actually building the camper where the sender unit is. So these two pipes here are the pipes, the waste pipes from the sink and from the shower and the wash basin. So our sender unit is roughly around about there somewhere. So these are our waste tanks. So we've got the black one to the right, and that is directly underneath the toilet. And we've got the grey tank here, which is underneath that seat on the inside. Both 96 litres, so just shy of 100 litres each. And they work on a 3-inch gate valve. So unlike the toilet cassette, we can go for around about 10 days. That's for 2 persons using the toilet. The grey tank will probably last, I don't know, 2 days, something like that. I class that as an overnight tank. So to empty the tanks then, we have got these 3-inch flexible hoses. So these are on a bayonet fitting. So these connect onto these little brackets down here. They can join together so we can travel 20 foot. I also have a concertina which is called a sidewinder, which is this thing here, which is like a little ramp, and that concertina's out, same again, 20 foot, so the pipes can connect together, and then you can go straight into a manhole cover. I say a manhole cover, we're not using any chemicals in Evie, so it is pure sewerage, if you like. There ain't no toilet blue or anything like that. So the problem is I cannot get above the tanks. There's only, I'd say, up there, what's that, probably about 50 millimeters on top of the tanks. So no way am I going to be able to change the sender unit over without going through the floor up above. Right. Okay, a little bit of a tight squeeze underneath the table, but yeah, black tank, I should, yeah, say grey. So these are the connectors from the sender. This is the grey tank, and the black tank connector is on the other side of the floor, at the other side. But looking at the photos then, I'm going to guesstimate that the sender unit is roughly in this area. So my intention are to cut a square out of here, hopefully hit the top of the sender unit, big enough so I can work on it, under the screws, whatever it is, lift out the sender unit and put the new ones in. I could have done all this and put an access panel there right at the very beginning, but it's one of those things. I know I could always tackle it, hopefully, and yeah, it's now the time's come, and it's like, yeah, this is the time to open it up and do the do, really. So rather than just cutting out the floor as a square, I am going to taper it in like that, so it will act like a wedge, so it's not just going to fall through and get trapped there. Yeah. Okay, problem. The sender unit is actually screwed from inside the tank, so it's got a locking nut on the inside. So I've got to go underneath, open up the back of the tank, and then get my hand in there. Right, so we've got it out. The tank is 500 mil deep, and as you can see, 500 mils about probably there. So one of the sensors has rotted, fell off, whatever. They are stainless steel, but why we've lost, I don't know, probably about 100 mil out of this, I don't know. CBC, I don't know what that is. CBC, so it's got a seagull on back of there, so yeah. It's been in 7 years. So I suppose it's not done too bad, but like I said, the black tank I'm expecting to be far worse than this, and we had problems with that within the first 12 months. So buy cheap, buy twice, I guess. Right, we're ready to put this back in. I've put some silicone around the bottom there. I'm using silicone rather than the PU bond, because I think this will maybe at some point need servicing, and I don't want to be using PU bond and then having to get the hammer and chisel on to bash it all free. So a bit of silicone, and then the hole is actually bigger than the hole than the sender unit what I've put back in, so I'm having to go around the edge with screws and washers, a little bit unorthodox really, to clamp it in place, but it's going to work. So you can see I've clamped it in with 3 screws. I am going to just run around with a little bit more silicone on that, because like I said, the holes on the sender unit are supposed to be where you screw it down through, but the hole is slightly bigger, hence I've had to use the clamping washers. So I've got a ton of jobs to do, and it's raining today, so not very good that, is it? Very inconsiderate of the British weather. However, I went to bed last night and thinking about how I secured the sender unit in the grey tank, and I think I woke up this morning thinking, you know what, I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to make a securing plate for it, a little bit, you know, more functional and stronger fixing plate, because I think that's a little bit cowboyish. I've got some aluminium here, which is one of the covers for the old diesel heater, which I'm going to use. So I'm going to put an hole in it, sort of like this size, for the I think it's about a 42mm hole, that or something, and then make a bigger disc so that can be fixed onto the aluminium, and then the aluminium can be fixed on the tank, so it's a lot more secure. I just weren't happy with that when I did that, so yeah, I'm going to redo it again. But I'm just waiting for the weather to behave itself. It's been monsoon it down this morning, and I've had to resort to doing a little bit of editing and uploading before I can do anything. Can you believe having to put this out just to get a dry workspace? Right, my problem is I haven't got an hole saw at 42mm, and it's like, do I try jigsawing the hole out, or do I stitch drill it and then file it? The thing is, probably somewhere lying in storage I have got an hole saw at 42mm. I know I will have. I don't know what's more annoying, the British weather, because I mean this was supposed to come this afternoon, nice this morning, not having an hole saw and having to stitch drill this, and or not really getting up on the roof and getting my tools down, my big tools. So yeah, this will do it. Just it's a longer way around doing things, that's all. Right, best go and find a file. What's annoying is once I've filed all this down, I've still got to go up on the top and get the jigsaw to cut this out. That's better. Yeah, so I can fix that in there now. I can bolt that in, cut another plate around it, or cut another disc out, and secure that to the top of the tank. That's going to be much better. So that, filing that, stitch drilling that and filing it has taken about 5 or 10 minutes, so not that long really. And the tools what I have in the camper, not the tools up on top, I can literally do about everything with those. I mean this is really old. This was my dad's file. So got the curved back to it. I've also got a round file here, which is great for widening out holes. Yeah, I think I've mentioned before about having a really good comprehensive toolbox. It just gets you out of so many tricky situations. Yes, there'll be some of you saying, just go down to Screwfix, Dave, and buy an hole saw. You're not wrong. However, the bike is up on the back, it's raining. 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to stick another 10 minutes on this and do the other one. Now I've got 2 for each side. Made one of these Chinese throwing stars, and before you ask, I've got an old store there, but that's just not big enough, so I want it fractionally bigger, so that's why I'm not using the old store. So finally, yeah, it's taken probably about 2 hours to get that back in. I'm gonna have lunch now, and then I'm gonna connect the wires up, and like I said, before I start the toilet, I want to get this all tidied up and put away, and get this one working before I start ripping out the toilet. In fact, looking at the weather, I don't know whether to sack it off and leave it till tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's back in. Yeah, all's good, so I'm happy with that. And that fixing, that washer, is a lot better than just the 3 epoxy screws I put in yesterday. So they are stainless steel screws, self tappers, so hopefully they're going to last, and hopefully it's going to be a good job. Silicone around there, not to actually glue it in there, but just to form a seal. So because like I said, at some point that may have to come back out again. So another day of sheer untidiness, different location, and I'm on with today fitting the diesel heater. I've broke off the sender units because I want to get rid of this big box here. I want to get rid of that because it's doing boxing. So I'm fitting the diesel heater, and I've had to rearrange the water system. What I did, I don't know, a few months back now, and that's going to change anyway because I want a finer carbon filter and a UV light. So I'm gonna have to alter that anyway in there. But what I'm on with at the current moment in time is I've just fitted this vent to blow in here, and this vent just here. So I'm just currently connecting them up. Hence I've got the head torch on so I can see what I'm doing. But the diesel heater is going underneath that step. Not that way up, obviously, it's going to go the other way. But yeah, that's roughly where it's going, and it's going to be feeding this area. Yeah, we find out that, to be honest with you, that the diesel heater, even though it goes down to about 1.6 kilowatts, is too much for in here. So the diesel heater is, it's just for a quick blast. You know, if you come in, it's really cold, we can flick the diesel heater on, get it warm, or in the morning, you get up in the morning, flick it on, warm it up, and then turn it off. So I know what you're going to say, it's not ideal to run the diesel heaters like that, but it's that well insulated in here, 50mm all the way around and then 100mm on the floor. It's not a cold living space. So yeah, that's what I'm on with at the minute. Pulling holes, connecting up the pipes. Once the pipes are through underneath the step, and I can just finally position, I want to get the bends right, and then I can finally position the diesel heater and then get that through the floor and get it all plumbed in. So that's my job today. Tomorrow, I'm staying here all day tomorrow, and hopefully the toilet is out, and I'll be cutting through the floor for the second sender unit. So yeah, that's going in the black tank. So I'll turn you back on tomorrow when the crapper is out there. If you're squeamish, turn away now. Right, yes, that's our toilet. Been in 7 years. It's a porcelain toilet. It's dramatic, but yeah, it's actually a proper toilet, if you like, for an RV. So that's come out this morning. So what I'm left with is an hole in the floor. I know the old sender unit is roughly somewhere about here. So let's point it down. There you go, roughly about here. So I'm just going to cut up this floor here. This is the sort of like plywood and then king span, and then we've got the box, the structural box floor. So I've got 100mm to cut through there, and then I should be able to peer down and get to the sender unit, a little bit like I did on the other one. So that's what I'm on with today. I'm gonna have to get me. I've got on the back of the tanks underneath, I've got these screw top lids. So once I come to get this sender unit out, I've got to go underneath, open up the screw top lid, get my hand in there and take the locking nut off the old sender unit. The new sender units I'm fixing from above. So if ever sometime in the future or somebody in the future has to get to the sender unit, they can do it through the floor up here rather than going into the tank. So right, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. How long did that take? Far too long. Right, bingo, the old sender unit is there. So a bit over there. So that's the old sender unit. I am really pleased with that. Yeah, and I think this is when you're doing a build, it's quite handy to take the old or take photos of the build and just save them for record, either for someone else or yourself. Yeah, this would be a nightmare trying to locate this and guess where this is without actual photos. So right, so I've got to go underneath into the back of the poop tank, undo the bezel and then get this out. Okay, let me show you what I've got underneath here then. So this is the rear of the black tank, this one here. They're the waste outlets for the that's for the grey, that's for the black. So that's the tank. So I'm going to take this lid off, shall we call it, and as seen as I cannot find Helen anywhere, looks like it's going to be my job. Whew. Right, the old sender unit's out, new one going back in. So now this is in, got the wires to connect up. I'm gonna, while the toilet's out, I'm gonna hose pipe the toilet down, give that a good clean. And then we're ready for putting the toilet back in. So it's not been too bad. Probably it's taken about 2 hours of back and forth, cleaning my hands and things like that. So 2 hours. So I'll be starting the diesel heater after a cup of tea, or another cup of tea. The wires are connected up, and the gauge is working. I've just run some water down the toilet, and you can see it's just started showing on the gauge here. The greys, that's working. This is the water pump. This will be the Serbo GX Victron, and that's the Topogy water meter. Now, even though I've done this, it may change, because I know the GX, you can actually incorporate something like the water tanks and the grey tanks into that display. I'd rather have these as they are, because they're more visual, and there you can always see them. This is the LPG tank, so when I turn this switch, I may have the LPG on the Serbo, because it's something I don't check that often, where the water and the black is something, you know, that's certainly once a week. The LPG is more like once every month, 2 months. So you can see my lights going up here. So this may actually go onto the Serbo. The Topogy, this one here, that's for the water meter. So if I just run the tap, and just quickly go back here, you can see this is lit up, and this is saying I've got 264 litres in. Again, I'm not going to have that running through the Serbo, because that is quite visual in itself, and I rather have it where when I run the tap I can just glance up here and I can see it. Nice big display. There's not, you know, I've got to wear glasses sometimes for doing close-up work, so I certainly don't want to be dropping my phone on the floor. I don't really want to be over here by the sink and then not being able to see them displays. So what else? So that's about it for this at the minute. I'm not fitting the water display, because I just need to check how much room I've got here for the Serbo, because there's a couple of different ones you can go for. I know there's a 7-inch and there's a 5-inch, and I think there's a new one as well. So I just really don't want to like cut into this anymore and then have to redo it. So that's that. So we've got the TV aerial, what needs tidying up. These are cover a board to go over this, and that's it. I'm just going to leave that now until I get sort of like the Victron inverter and the Serbo and the GX. Obviously cables are going to have to come from that area up to here anyway, so there's still a little bit more work to do here, but I think that's it. I think that's it for now. The toilet's working fine, the electrics are working fine. I've just got to now crack on with the finishing the diesel heater, which I've just got to do the exhaust on that, which is outside underneath, and I've got to drop the spare wheel for that. So that's going to be this afternoon's job. Thanks again for watching and sticking with us. Please, any comments, stick them down below, and until next time, be good. We'll try to stay clean and not mess with toilets.